Greetings one and all, welcome back to the channel. We are doing part number 6 of my Broken Sword Shadow of the Templars playthrough. We're going to hit continue. We may continue where we left off. We may end up having to backtrack a little bit and catch up to where we left off. Who knows with this game? It can't seem to make its mind up whether I'm saving in one place or another. So let's find out. Okay, well, good news is we are absolutely in the hotel. Question is, which part? Now, I know that I want the key. To get the key, I'm probably going to have to distract him. How do I distract him?
There was no one registered under the name of Khan. If the killer was staying here, he'd used a different pseudonym. It was the register of guests staying at the hotel.
What now, monsieur?
About the key hanging on the hook over there.
Oui, monsieur.
Which room is it for?
Number 21.
Is that room taken?
No. The guests checked out this morning.
Did I show you this photograph?
Yes, you did, monsieur.
Okay, so we've done.
Would it make a difference if I told you the guy in the photo was a murderer?
We are accustomed to catering for celebrities, monsieur. Movie stars, politicians, royalty, sporting personalities, they all stay here.
Can you tell me which room the man in the photograph is taken?
Oh no, monsieur. That information is confidential.
Okay, so that is a key to a vacant room. Why would we want a key to a vacant room?
Hi there, ma'am.
Well, hello. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for a man.
You disappoint me, my dear. For one foolish moment I thought... But never mind. Aren't you going to tell me your name?
George Stobart.
Okay, so we've done this part.
A real...
Oh,
I've already introduced myself to the lady.
The blood may... You appear...
If you want to see that, then that is absolutely in part number 5. So backtrack and see that. I'm going to skip through this and see. Yeah, it backtracked a little bit.
Did you know there's a gangster out front?
What makes you...
The attack...
That...
I'm looking.
Good.
That's...
What? It's...
I believe... Have you...
No.
Cap...
Oh...
Does he... Are you here?
No.
I didn't... I'm sorry.
You... It gets that... I'm not... That was...
What happened?
It was... He...
I'm glad... Who was that?
His name...
Can you think... Do you
My God!
She represented Merlin?
Good... He's... That's...
Do you...
And it...
That's...
Ah...
That's it. Does this...
I'm...
I just couldn't bring myself to use the buzzer on this dear lady. The man...
What do...
He's a murderer.
I took him to be a gentleman. Do you know, I'd rather like to assist you in stitching him up.
When did you last see Merlin?
It was no more than an hour ago. He came downstairs and spoke to that clerk chappie. Something passed hands. I couldn't see...
A briefcase?
No, smaller than that. But the clerk put it in the hotel safe and Merlin...
Are you sure you saw Merlin putting...
Yes, darling.
I wonder what they were.
Obviously something...
Yeah. I'd sure like to... I'll bet they had something to do with Plantar's... Has Merlin returned to the hotel?
No, he hasn't. Are you going to search his room?
If I could get in there, I would.
And there we go, caught up.
There was no one registered under the name of Khan, but the name in the book for room 22 was Merlin.
Okay.
What now, monsieur?
Ah.
I'd like to retrieve something from your safe.
Ah, oui, monsieur. May I see some form of identification?
Like what?
A driving license, perhaps?
I don't drive.
Your passport?
I don't have it with me. I could show you my operation scar.
I'm sorry, monsieur. I must have some form of unique ID.
You won't find a more unique ID than my scar.
I'm sorry. I must insist on a more traditional identification.
Rats. I'd like to check into room 21.
That is not possible.
How come? You said it was vacant.
It is reserved for another guest.
Rats.
No, monsieur. Dutch.
I believe Khan, the man with the scar, is also known as Merlin, the man who has taken room 22.
What of it? What do you want?
Access to his room.
Do you have a license, monsieur?
Huh?
A private investigator's license?
Well, not exactly, but I can explain everything.
I am sorry, but without credentials, I cannot help.
I insist you give me the key to Merlin's room.
I cannot do that, monsieur.
This guy Merlin is a menace.
So you say, monsieur.
He's not only a danger to society, but to your guests as well. He has toyed with the affections of Lady Piermont.
Ciel! Are there no depths to which he will not sink?
Precisely. He's already killed once, twice, maybe as many as 3 times. With your help, I just might be able to stop him.
But what if he finds out I have helped you? No, I cannot do it.
Well, the lady said she wanted to help. Let's see if she can help.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What can I do for you now?
Would you distract the clerk while I borrow a key?
Are you asking me to aid you in a criminal act, darling?
Oh, no. It's the key to an empty room.
And why, may I ask, do you wish to gain access to an empty room? Do you plan to squat?
No, ma'am.
Scouts honor?
I was never in the Boy Scouts, ma'am.
Oh, you should have been. What were your parents thinking of? It's a fine way for a boy to get licked into shape. Now tell me, why do you want to get into that room?
It's next to the room the killer is using.
Ah, so you plan to eavesdrop on Merlin?
I was hoping there might be a connecting door.
Well, how can I refuse? I shouldn't think my feminine charms would be much use in this case, but a good dose of English arrogance might do the trick. I say! You there! Flunky!
Oui,
Flunky.
madame.
Listen carefully. You do understand English, don't you?
But of course, madame.
Good. I wish to deposit some jewelry for safekeeping.
I understand.
Are you quite certain?
Oh, bien sûr, madame.
Over to you, my dear.
Yoink. And up we go, I think.
The sign on the door read 21.
That's the one we want.
The door was locked.
Yeah, we know that.
Maybe it wasn't the right room, but this was the right key.
And we're in. Well, do we really need to investigate an empty room? And we want to get into the room next door. Obviously, we can't walk through the door. There's no connecting wall. No connecting door. We're going to do it like the movies. We're going to jump out the window. No, we're going to climb out the window. Come on, George, suicide. Whoa, no. Let's carefully go across there, shall we, George? Nice and slowly. One foot after the other. You can do it. There we go. Right then. Now we're getting somewhere.
The bed was freshly made, and the crisp white sheets told me nothing about the killer's habits. It was the battered leather briefcase I'd seen Plantar carrying just before he died. I searched the interior of the briefcase, but as I'd half expected, it was empty.
No, George. No, we don't want you to keep opening and closing the door, as fun as that might
The closet
be.
was a solid, impressive piece of antique furniture.
You're not going to search anything else, are you?
The closet was a solid...
Yes, thank you.
The closet was...
Okay.
The assassin had been too smart to leave incriminating evidence beside his bed. The bed was several times larger than the narrow cot I'd been given at the place I was staying. The closet was a solid...
Well, that was a bust. Can we leave?
It was Khan. I had
Uh-oh.
the kind of feeling in my stomach that would usually send me running to the bathroom.
A quick question, how did George open the door when it was locked?
As Khan opened the wardrobe, I was sure I was dead. But he grabbed his pants quickly and didn't even see me. I didn't usually spy on men getting changed. But this guy was a killer, and I didn't want any surprises. He left his checkered pants on the bed.
What have we got here?
I had that kind of feeling you only get from searching still warm pants. The pocket was empty. There was nothing in the pocket. A strip along the side seam of the pants had been unpicked, then sewn back up with strong thread and a special stitch. I flipped the pants over.
Oh, hello.
I found an ordinary matchbook. No matches, no clues. But as I pulled it from the pocket, a strong thread came with it. A thread with a metal tag on the end. I found nothing in the pocket. The matchbook bore a pattern of swirling color and the words, Club Alamut. I turned the pants over again. There was nothing in the pocket. I turned the pants over again.
Oh,
I pulled on the metal tag and the thread came out of the pants. It was like pulling out a ripcord. I turned the pants over again.
oh, I see.
I searched the pocket gingerly and found a pass card. It read, Thomas Merlin, Gruber Electronics Corporation. There was nothing else in the secret pocket.
I think he's going to notice the fact that we opened his secret pocket. Wow. Let's see how smart the clerk is. See if we can pass ourselves off as Thomas Merlin.
What now, monsieur?
Does this matchbook mean anything to you?
No, monsieur.
Does this pass mean anything to you?
That is Monsieur Merlin's property.
That's right. Merlin the murderer. I want to see what he's left in your safe.
Impossible. I cannot betray his confidence, no matter what you say he's done.
You're making a big mistake.
Maybe I can live with that. A murderer? Are you sure?
Positive.
I don't want to use him. He's boring. Let's see what the lady has to say.
Hi, ma'am.
Hello, George. What can I do for you now?
Let's see.
I found this matchbook in Merlin's bedroom.
It came from the Club Alamut. It might be useful to find out if that club is in Paris, George.
An excellent point.
I found this pass in Merlin's room.
So, that deceitful little man is passing himself off as an electrician, is he?
Uh-huh. This guy probably has 1,000,000 faces. I showed the pass to the clerk, hoping he'd give me Merlin's papers, but he wouldn't buy it. He's too scared.
I'll give him something to be scared of. Follow me, George!
Best character so far.
Did you place a package from Merlin in the hotel safe?
I did, madame.
And did my friend here show you Merlin's identification?
Indeed he did, but
What's the problem?
he isn't Merlin.
A mere academic detail. Give him the package.
But that is against the law.
I happen to be a justice of the peace, you silly man. I am the law. If he tries anything, shoot him, George.
My pleasure, Lady Piermont.
One moment, please.
You know, I haven't enjoyed myself this much since Greenham Common.
I don't know what I would have done without you, Lady Piermont.
Voilà, monsieur. Le manuscrit de Monsieur Merlin.
Thanks.
How satisfying. An Anglo-American alliance that actually worked.
The clerk had given me a tightly rolled sheet of parchment. I decided not to unroll it until I was safely back in Nico's apartment.
Now, if you watched the previous episode, there were some gangsters outside. I have a funny feeling if I try and leave, they're going to stop me.
I couldn't leave the hotel with the manuscript. It was probably what those thugs were looking for.
There we go. I have a sneaking feeling I know how to do this. Again, we're taking directly from movies here. Manuscript. And
I knew this was no way to treat an ancient manuscript. But I couldn't let it fall into the hands of the goons waiting outside.
Bye-bye. I'm not sure why we had to climb out on the ledge to do that, but yeah, that's my guess. I'm assuming this is how it works. How it works in the films. And now we should be able to leave. Get past the goons.
Just a minute, monsieur.
What's your problem?
No problem, if you cooperate.
What do you want?
Just a routine security check. Nothing to worry yourself about.
Oh, well, all right.
Search him, Flap.
You bet!
Hey, knock it off. Get off, you big ape.
Nothing, Guido. Zilch!
Our apologies, monsieur.
What? I had to report you to the authorities.
Round here, we are the authorities.
You want I should break his arms?
No. Let him go, Flap.
Great
If the
security.
manuscript was what Flap and Guido were after, they were going to be disappointed. I couldn't wait to get back to Nico's apartment and check it out. Hi, how are you?
Oh, hi. Come in, Josh.
Right then. Here we go again.
What are you doing to help trace the killer clown?
Research, Josh.
Yeah? You have a copy of the clown's yearbook?
I have a telephone and lots of contacts.
Oh, well, did you find anything useful?
Not yet. I'm employing my first and most useful weapon.
What's that?
Patience.
Oh, I've heard of that. Isn't it a substitute for decisive thinking?
You're a funny guy, George.
Do you have a boyfriend?
Not anymore. There was someone. A guy in my final year, but it didn't work out. Neither did my degree.
I'm sorry.
I'm not.
Tell me more about your family.
When I was a little girl, I used to spend the winter with my grandfather and grandma. They were the best times, warm and safe in their tiny cottage. My grandfather rolled cigarettes while grandma made hot chocolate and cakes. One day, he stopped his scrolling. He put the lid back on his tobacco jar and took me in his arms. I laughed and wriggled, but he hushed me to be silent. With his unshaven chin all scratchy in my ear, he told me his secret.
What did he say?
He said, I don't smoke, but she likes to think I do.
What a weird old man.
Don't call my grandfather weird. He was the nicest guy ever. I wish I was back in that cottage instead of this crummy apartment in this noisy city.
Yeah then.
I found this matchbook in the killer's hotel room. It's from the Club Alamut.
Never heard of it. Is there anything written inside it?
No, what were you expecting?
If this was a movie, there'd be a clue. A name or an address. That's no use. There aren't even any matches in it.
Oh well, I'll keep it as a souvenir. I found this in the killer's room.
What is it? A credit card?
ID, Thomas Merlin, of the Gruber Electronics Corporation.
Never heard of him or the company.
You're just not going to believe what I've found.
It's not another part of the clown's costume, is it?
It's a medieval manuscript. Khan left it in the safe at the U-Boot.
It's incredible. Is this what he took from Plantark?
It could be, which means it's worth enough to kill for.
Look there, two guys on the same horse.
Oh yeah, maybe they couldn't afford one each. What of it?
Have you ever heard of the Knights Templar? Their official seal was an image of two knights sharing a horse. Whatever this manuscript means, it's connected with the Templars.
How come you know about these knights?
I learned about them while writing an article on the Crusades. This guy, named Hughes de Payen, arrived one day at the court of King of Jerusalem. He offered to protect the Christian pilgrims from the displaced Muslim armies. The king would be able to guarantee safe transit to Christians in the Holy Land. Safer journeys meant more pilgrims and
Pilgrims meant trade and wealth. The Templars proved invaluable to the king as a mercenary army. It was said that they never asked how many the enemy numbered, just where they were. And as the years went by, the Templars grew in wealth and numbers. They were so rich, even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition. Thousands of Templars were subject to torture and confessed to heresy. Of course, at the hands of the Inquisition, there wasn't much they wouldn't confess to. The last Grand Master Jacques de Molay was burned alive.
Jeez. So the treasure is hidden, waiting to be discovered?
If there ever was a treasure, it's been lost for 600 years. Anyway, we're supposed to be investigating a serial killer, not a medieval treasure trove.
But maybe that's what the clown and his accomplices are after. Maybe this manuscript is the key.
You'd better leave it here for safekeeping.
I don't think so.
Let's take another look at the manuscript.
Okay.
There's a guy with a sword and a bull.
The only mythological bull I know of is the Minotaur, but he was only half bull.
I don't think I'd like to be half a bull, even if it was the bottom half.
What's that object between them?
It looks like a gem on top of a tripod. There's a guy working on a loom. He's weaving a carpet or a tapestry.
Or a duvet cover. It's a clue to a place, I reckon. Somewhere famed for weaving and ships.
Where folk live in barrels?
It beats copper boxes.
There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces.
She reminds me of the wicked queen in Snow White.
She was the one who said, "Mirror, mirror on the wall," wasn't she? She made me cry so much when I was a kid. Mom carried me out of the movie theater.
She didn't frighten me in the least.
Like I said, I was only a kid. I didn't like the crocodile in Peter Pan either. A knight with a crystal ball. Now, there's something written on the scroll beside the knight.
Yes, but it's written in Latin. Per disciplinam mea lux videbis.
By my teachings, you will see the light.
You speak Latin? Where did you learn a trick like that?
A trick? I studied law, okay? I can read Latin.
My, you're touchy. Tell me that again.
A knight with a crystal... The knight scroll bears a phrase, "Through my teachings, you will..."
Let's face it, we need help, George. Someone who knows about these things.
Who do you suggest? Indiana Jones?
I know a guy who specializes in medieval studies. His name is Lobino.
Huh. Some stuffy old fossil who gets horny over ancient relics, I suppose.
Far from it. Andre isn't the stereotypical professor you have in mind.
Where can I find this Lobino guy?
At the Krön Museum. I'll give you the address.
Let's take another look.
No, let's not. We don't need to.
Look there. 2 guys on the
Maybe
same
we do.
horse.
Oh no. Okay. How do we get out?
A knight. The knight's through my There's a woman, look, but the reflection... There's a guy... There's a guy with a sword. Between them is a...
Oh, okay.
I have to go.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lobino at the Krön Museum.
Krön Museum. Okay. Museum. Yeah, museum.
In the case was a spindly tripod, blackened with age and pitted with rust. It was identical to the tripod pictured on the manuscript. A notice identified it as 15th century from Western Ireland. It had been found in Loch Marne at the site of a Knights Templar preceptory. Ireland!
What's that?
This tripod was found in Ireland.
I will have to ask you to keep your voice down.
I'm sorry, I was excited. Pardon me.
Oui, monsieur?
Are you Lobineau?
Oh, no. Fancy you mistaking me for him. No. I am the deputy custodian.
But Lobineau does work here.
Work? I wouldn't go so far as to call it there. He studies here most days, but as you can see for yourself, not today.
Do you know anything about the Knights of the Temple?
No, sir. Not a sausage.
The sign on the tripod says it was found at a Templar preceptory.
It does?
Yeah. It doesn't mention John Dee at all.
Most remiss.
You don't know anything about the tripod, do you?
No, I don't. I never had much of a start in life, you see. I owe what little education I gained to my uncle. He was an optician, but he also doubled as the village school teacher. He taught me the alphabet. Well, 19 letters of it. The bottom row of the chart was too small even for him to read, so he left them out.
Why don't you start over and enroll for adult education?
You know, I never thought of that. Do you think if I studied hard and did all my homework, I could be a professor of history?
At your age? Dream on.
Well, that's very pessimistic, George. Anybody can learn. Never too late.
Do you know anything about medieval manuscripts?
Not me, monsieur. I am no scholar, though people often mistake me for one. It is the uniform, I guess. They see the clothes. They are impressed.
And they ask you to park their cars?
They ask me to park the... No. They assume I am an authority on the exhibits in my care.
Whereas you know next to nothing about history.
Of course not. All I am saying is, I am no scholar. Not like Monsieur Lobineau.
George, you're a real prick sometimes.
Can you give me any further information about the tripod?
Certainly, monsieur. It's infamous. That tripod, that belonged to John Dee.
What's the importance of John Dee's tripod?
Dee was the most famous escapologist of the 16th century. The Houdini of his time.
Don't you mean alchemist? Escapologists use ropes, chains, and handcuffs, not tripods.
Well, whatever he was, that is the tripod he used in his experiments.
What kind of experiments did John Dee perform with his tripod?
Oh, the usual. Didn't you study chemistry at school?
Yeah, but we skipped over thaumatology. Can I take a closer look at the tripod?
What? Get it out of the case? Ah, no! That tripod is protected by a sophisticated surveillance system.
How sophisticated?
A painfully loud alarm bell.
How is the alarm bell triggered?
By the slightest pressure on or movement of any part of the case wherein that tripod is situated.
It strikes me that to call your alarm system sophisticated is, well, stretching the truth a little.
It has never failed yet. The sophistication is in its simplicity.
Is it worrying then that actually makes a little bit of sense?
Do you recognize this ID pass?
No.
Have you ever heard of the Club Alamut?
Oh no, I don't frequent places like that.
What do you make of this tissue?
It is absolutely disgusting, monsieur.
Do you recognize this red nose?
I don't think so.
Do you recognize the man in this photograph?
No, monsieur. Is there any reason why I should?
I guess not. What does this tool mean to you?
That belongs in a museum.
Pardon?
It is a priceless historical artifact, if I am not mistaken.
No, it's a plain old tool for lifting drain covers.
Oh, please let this one work. Please, please, please.
Would you like to shake my hand?
Not while I'm on duty,
Damn
monsieur.
it.
Thanks for your help.
Wow. And that is where we will call this one. So that is part number 6. Sweet. Making progress. We're in a museum. out of the hotel, we are on the trail and learning quite a lot about the Knights Templar apparently. So there we go. Thanks for joining me. Really hope you enjoyed it. Throw us a comment if you feel like it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. That helps me out a great deal. Other than that, guys, have yourself a fantastic day. I will catch you all on the next one.